General Hospital spoilers reveal that Lucky's return has brought great joy to Liz and Aiden, but at the same time, it has made them realize the significant changes in him. After a long period of separation, both Liz and Aiden couldn't hide their happiness at seeing Lucky re-enter their lives. For Liz, memories of their relationship flooded back, and she felt warmth as she recalled the beautiful moments they had shared. However, Liz couldn't deny that Lucky had changed. His eyes carried more contemplation, and it seemed the difficulties and losses he had experienced during their time apart had left deep marks. Aiden, their son, was perhaps the most delighted to see his father return. He had long been yearning for the day of reunion, and the happiness was evident on his young face. Yet Aiden also noticed that the father he had missed was no longer exactly the same. Their playful moments together seemed mixed with a certain quietness. Both Liz and Aiden could sense that Lucky carried a burden, perhaps the difficult experiences he had been through. Nevertheless, Lucky's changes did not diminish the affection between them. On the contrary, Liz and Aiden became even more appreciative of the present time and understood that, despite the changes, their family could still find happiness. The mix of joy, surprise, and a bit of anxiety about the future created a complex but warm atmosphere. With Lucky's return, Liz hoped that their small family would have the chance to rebuild what was lost and face life's changes together. Aiden began to notice the significant changes in Lucky, especially as his father became increasingly restless and started acting in dangerous ways. Lucky's return brought not only joy, but also a storm of complex emotions. Aiden, with the sharp perception of a child, couldn't ignore the signs that his father was no longer the same. Lucky had not only changed psychologically, but also became prone to reckless actions. This worried Aiden, as he slowly understood that the father he loved was battling immense guilt and pressure. The tension peaked when Lucky became obsessed with his failure to save Lulu. His unsuccessful efforts to help his sister had caused Lucky to spiral out of control. Aiden felt as though his father was distancing himself from reality and sinking deeper into guilt. The boy noticed that Lucky often displayed dissatisfaction, restlessness, and at times engaged in behavior he had never seen before. Episodes of anger and anxiety were no longer rare, and though Aiden was still young, he was mature enough to sense the growing danger. Lucky began taking risky actions, possibly in an attempt to redeem himself or find a way to save Lulu. But Aiden feared that if Lucky couldn't regain control, those actions could lead him down a path from which there would be no return. He didn't want to lose his father again, but he also knew that Lucky was on the verge of self-destruction. Deep inside, Aiden wished for his father to find peace and a solution without resorting to reckless measures. However, with the changes he witnessed, Aiden couldn't help but fear that his father's erratic actions might lead to serious consequences, not only for Lucky, but for the entire family. Lucky was sinking into darkness, and that change was not only affecting him, but also directly threatening Aiden's safety. The pressures of trying to save Lulu, combined with guilt, had pushed Lucky to the brink of losing control. Although he still wanted to be a good father, his obsessions and uncontrollable anger had created a risky environment for Aiden. At first, Lucky's behavior manifested in unusual bursts of anger and failed attempts to hide his anxiety and stress. But gradually, his actions became more dangerous. Each time he lost control of his emotions, Lucky began acting impulsively, even reacting violently without realizing it. Aiden, with his sensitivity and keen observation, began to sense the darkness engulfing his father. The boy wasn't just scared of Lucky's outbursts, but also worried about his own safety. There were nights when Aiden woke up to the sound of yelling from the living room, where Lucky was trying to cope with the psychological pressures he was under. The memories and guilt over Lulu haunted Lucky, preventing him from finding peace in his mind. He became withdrawn and started isolating himself, no longer communicating normally with Aiden. This created a growing distance between father and son, and Aiden began to feel lost, unsure of how to deal with the situation. As time passed, Lucky's transformation became more apparent. He wasn't just losing control of his emotions, but also acting erratically. Lucky's reckless and unsafe decisions, such as driving while mentally unstable or getting involved in dangerous situations, put Aiden in danger. The boy grew increasingly afraid of being around his father, feeling that he could no longer rely on the man he once loved and trusted. In a recent incident, Lucky unintentionally put Aiden at risk when he took him to a place where he was investigating Lulu's condition. Aiden, sensing his father's tension and instability, was terrified. Lucky's lack of control not only caused emotional harm to Aiden, but also posed a threat to the boy's life. Aiden began avoiding his father, unwilling to interact with him for fear that the unpredictable outbursts and erratic behavior could erupt at any moment. Lucky's changes didn't just frighten Aiden, but also placed the entire family in a state of tension. Liz, Aiden's mother, also noticed Lucky's instability, but she couldn't figure out how to help him escape this darkness. Meanwhile, Aiden seemed to be facing his fears and anxiety on his own, uncertain whether anyone could help his father return to who he once was. Lucky, who was once a loving and responsible father, was now becoming the source of fear and worry for his own son. The darkness within him was growing, and if help didn't come soon, it could push Aiden into an unforeseeably dangerous situation.